Well, good evening, guys, and welcome to Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. Thank you all for coming into the room. I truly do appreciate you guys for tuning in for tonight's edition of Jersey Girl Cozy Niche, baby. And if you got an opportunity to already see what our topic is tonight, we are at the very end of Black History Month here in the United States. So it is February 28th of 2022. And thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight with the one, the only Jersey Girl, baby. And if you got an opportunity to go ahead and already see some of the great stuff we got going on, let me go ahead and make sure I put my tickler across the bottom of the screen. Okay. It is going to be called pulling back the veil. Okay. Black History Month, baby. Pulling it back. Why do we need to pull it back? Well, I think that it's very important for us to go ahead and kind of get started in reviewing exactly what it is that we have contributed to this wonderful country that we have been blessed to be a part of. Those of us that are U.S. citizens, those that have been born here, and those that have become citizens here. Okay. God has a plan for our lives, people. Okay. There's a reason that you were born, the date, the time, and the place that you were, to the parents that you were, into the family that you have been birthed into. Okay. Or maybe gifted into if you were adopted. All right. So we hitting all corners, baby. All corners are hitting. Let me make sure that my volume is on, y'all. Hold on. Okay. Look, because last week we had a little faux pas last week. And listen, I ain't got time for that this time around. So you may see me here, but I'm moving a couple of things around tonight. So I want to make sure that I'm capturing all areas. So if you are in the room, please make sure that you introduce yourself in the room, guys. I would love to be able to see your comments that you are liking, that you are sharing, of course, because here on the Cozy Niche, you may have seen the definition where I said framily. What is framily exactly, Jersey Girl? Honey, so glad that you asked. Framily is friends that are family or likened unto family, okay? And to me, that's who you guys are. You guys are my family, my friends and family, all at once. As you can see, I'm rocking my Jersey Girl Cozy Niche t-shirt, baby. It has actually gotten a bit warm out here. It may just be warm for the time frame, because let me tell you something, Texas be bipolar at times. Okay. So I'm rocking my Jersey Girl Cozy Niche t-shirt that is available, of course, in the store. And of course, I also want to be able to showcase for you guys some additional merchandise that we have available in Jersey Girl Cozy Niche.com, the store. These beauties right here, let me make sure I'm holding them up well for you. These are coasters. Yes, these beautiful coasters. I got to make sure I tilt them so that way, the light don't hit it too much. But yes, you see these beauties right here. Not only these beauties, but also these beauties as well. Okay. So these are a set of custom coasters that you can be able to purchase on Jersey Girl Cozy Niche.com. Yes. These are the continents of Africa. So I gotta make sure I do it. So this is a set of 4. You get 2 continents, okay, and 2 beautiful African ladies that you can be able to showcase. That is what the set of coasters come with. It's a set of 4, honey, and then you get all set and squared away. And I also have bookmarks in various sizes, as you can see as well. Look, I told y'all we's doing things over in the Cozy Niche. Get ready. It is 2022. So much going on, so much fabulous things. But let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes, shall we? You saw the tickler, honey. So get ready. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the great things I want to be able to showcase. So let me go ahead and show you all. Let me pull back and hide that because I want to be able to show you guys shopping at JerseyGirlCozyNiche.com. JerseyGirl-CozyNiche.com, which is where you can be able to get your merchandise at. Okay. Yes. Make sure that you go ahead and utilize that. I also want to be able to go ahead and bring up how you can be able to follow me. But of course, on Facebook, it is Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. And then on Instagram, it's Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. Baby, on YouTube, it is Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. Okay. And as well as TikTok, Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. It is Jersey Girl Cozy Niche anywhere you go, because I want you to follow me, because we got places to go. So much different things that are happening in our space during this time, and I am looking forward to you guys coming along with. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I show you guys the resources that we are going to be using for tonight's topic. Okay. So I do have a PowerPoint that I want to be able to show y'all because I told y'all I have been doing quite a bit of research, and what you didn't get a chance to hear because it was a mom show last week, things that I was discussing was specifically for us to learn about our history. If you don't know your history, it is a grand possibility of you actually running to the problem of repeating history. That's not something that we want. We want to be informed of history so that way we don't repeat negative history in a negative way. I guess that's the best way to put it. We don't want to repeat negative history. We want to make sure that we know what the history is, and that way we are making positive strides and moves forward. That's what we want. That's what we're looking towards. We want to be able to come together to be able to lift one another up as the human race, people. Yes. Lifting one another up. Okay. Not continuing to perpetuate hate or destruction. Okay. And while we are here, everyone is lifting up Ukraine. So those that are praying, thank you so much for your prayers for Ukraine. Let's continue to go ahead and press in, for this nation, as well as the Russian people that are not in agreement with things that are happening and going on. I'm not telling you anything that is not already in the news. Make sure that you stay tuned in and prayed up. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Okay, let's go ahead and pull it up on the screen because I want you guys to be able to see it. Okay, let's make sure that you can see it. I don't think that you can. So give me 1 second because it says, do I want to share my screen? And the answer is yes, I want to share my screen. I want to share my screen with y'all. Okay. It says we got 2 monitors, and then it's asked me what monitor do I want to share, honey? Well, let me see. I want to share this window. How about that? Yes, honey. This window, as a matter of fact. Okay. Are you guys able to see it? I'm hoping that you can be able to see it. And so let me go ahead and yes, we are doing this from the beginning, people. Yes. Starting this slideshow. Was Miss Michelle Obama the first FLOTUS, honey? Was she? Well, let's go ahead and get into this thing, shall we? It's important for us to get into this thing. Y'all see she is looking absolutely flawless in that purple and that regal purple, baby. Yes. Yes. So excited about it. She looked amazing. Yes, she did. And we are so very appreciative of her style, grace, and poise. But she wasn't the first. So we're going to interject a bit of a YouTube video in here as well. I am citing him, okay, within this particular presentation as well. Again, no argument here that our lady was bad. FLOTUS was bad, okay? So you may be asking, Jersey Girl, why in the world do you have Reading Rainbow up here? Because reading is fundamental, okay? Take a look. It's in our book. They're Reading Rainbow, honey. A lot of information that we can be able to get is more than just what we're being force-fed. So it does take some time for you to be able to do some research, to dig. Now, that may be a foreign concept, okay? But let me tell you something. It's one of the things that I had actually been taught to do, even in regards to reading the Bible, studying the Bible, okay? Some tools that you need to study. You need a pen, paper, highlighter, notes that you can be able to take. So the reason why it says to go ahead and take a look in a book, it's Reading Rainbow. It's important. It is, okay? I didn't want to jump right to this one real quick, but I did want to be able to touch on it. I've been having a whole lot of different discussions with people in regards to what my faith is and why I believe what I believe, okay? I'm not here to knock anybody for what their faith is. I just know where my faith is and where my faith lies, okay? Then the discussion had been brought up about, the Bible. Well, how do you know that it's real? And it's a, a white man's Bible, and it's like, it was meant to be, put you under, control and things like that. Well, education is important. because there was a Bible that was being used during slavery time, and it was called the Slave Bible. And it was published in 1807, darling. Yes. And the actual full title of it is Parts of the Holy Bible, selected for the use of the Negro slaves in the British and West Indian Islands. That is the full title for that slave Bible. And it says portions, because guess what? The Bible contains 66 books. The slave Bible did not, boo-boo. It did not hold Revelation, which is the very last, okay? It only pulled out parts of Exodus and things like that. So let's go ahead and read it. 3 years after the Haitian Revolution ended, the revolution was the only slave result in history in which the enslaved people successfully, okay, drove out their European oppressors to form a new nation, and it increased American and European paranoia that the people that they oppressed will one day try to rise up against them. So this is where you got the slave Bible coming in at. When slavery was legal, it was proponents often justified it with the proponents actually tried to justify it with portions of the Bible, specifically of verses that were telling servants to obey their masters. But let's think about it. Slaves were not allowed to read, okay? Not allowed to read, could not read, okay? And the Bible that they had obviously had portions taken out. But you can be able to take a look in the Bible, the Bible that we have now, and be able to, the one that contained the 66 books. Yes. And go ahead and read that the masters are also supposed to be making sure that they are treating the slave appropriately, because that master also has to answer to God. But that was omitted in that slave Bible, darling. Yeah. It also says most of the Old Testament is missing and only about half of the New Testament. Well, wouldn't you know, remains. And that was so that the enslaved Africans in the Caribbean islands of Jamaica, Barbados, and Antigua couldn't read or read anything about them to be able to incite rebellion. Isn't that something? Then there were passages that were selected that emphasized equality between the groups of people. They wanted it for their own benefit. Let's sum it up to that. Now, just so you know, you can actually go ahead and be able to go to out in Washington, D.C., the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. You can actually be able to go and visit this location. And they actually have this, and you can be able to see for yourself. My sis out in PA, Lori, she got an opportunity to go. And she said it was very sombering. She was quite upset because she was just like, you know, to know that the Bible was being utilized to enslave people. And it was just so very upsetting to her, needless to say. Okay, now this is my sister, my ginger sister. Okay. So, you know, getting the education and making sure that you are learning and getting knowledge to be able to assist you to be able to grow is important. And that's pretty much what tonight is about. There are pillars for Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. And one of the pillars is personal growth and development. Okay. And so that's what we are talking about tonight. The other resources that you will see here is the YouTube channel that I am citing as well. And we are going to take a look at that because we're going to be talking about complexion. Yes. Yeah. Because it's important. And what a brunette is. And the different things that are involved in that. So I'll have these resources also scrolling across, and you'll get a chance to see it once you guys get a chance. So I'm leaving it up here so you can take a look at it for a little while longer too. See how I'm like kind of moving this along so that way you can have time to have it. Yes. So feel free to pause the screen, you know, later on after, you know, recording. So then that way you can go ahead and be able to see what these definitions are. Okay. Noah's Webster and Chambers English definitions. We must consider the times. So when we're taking a look at these times, when we're taking a look at dictionaries change over time. I don't know if you guys know that, but they do. Dictionaries change over time. So prime example, you are not going to be able to look in a dictionary from in 1984 and be able to find the definition for Google. or internet, because it wasn't available, it wasn't created, it wasn't around during that time frame. But you would be able to find that in a dictionary from 2017, 2016. You would be able to find these definitions. Why is this important? Because the video I'm going to show you is very relevant to this. So when I'm talking about firsthand accounts of information, when they are giving these definitions, when they are giving these words, you'll know exactly what the definition is relevant to that time frame. Again, this is something that I learned in studying, that it's important for you to have a current dictionary, a fairly old dictionary, and a really old dictionary, because there are words that change, words that are taken out, and words that are added. And so this is a part of getting a chance to learn things and know things. So let's take a look at complexion, shall we? Complexion is important. Child, yes. We all talk about, oh, my skin, my complexion. Well, baby, back in this time in 1828, according to Noah's Webster, complexion actually had to do with the color of the skin, particularly of the face, which is the first thing that you see, okay? The color of the external parts of the body or thing, okay? A fair complexion, a dark complexion, a complexion of the sky. So again, describing. Another definition is the state of being complex, texture, physical character or disposition of the body, hue of the skin, especially of the face, general appearance. These are definitions from Noah's Webster Dictionary and Chambers English definitions, okay, in 1828. Now, this complexion that's down here that you see, obviously this is Google, okay? And Google says complexion, the natural color, texture, and appearance of a person's skin, especially of the face. So it didn't move away too much from that definition of complexion. Let's go ahead on over to brunette. Same year, 1828, brunette, a woman with a brown or dark complexion. So we ain't talking about hair color, because you can see I am an African American woman, but I'm rocking some blonde hair. It's dyed, yes. But guess what? There are tribes in Africa where there are dark-skinned, melanin men and women, children with blonde hair and blue eyes. So don't get it twisted. Again, this definition of a brunette is a woman with a brown or dark complexion. A woman with a brown or dark complexion, no matter what, brunette, no matter which way you spell it, it's one and the same. And this beautiful photo of this woman off to the side is showing you that she is a brunette. And as you can see, her hue, her complexion, baby, is also brown. Yes, indeed. So when did the definitions for complexion and, brunette and things like that begin to change? Well, it started changing around the early 20th century. That's when it began changing. At this point in time, this is when white supremacy started rearing its head up. Okay. And then the definitions and things were being changed. Yes, indeed. But historically, you will see that historical features, especially for a woman, highly desired and sought after, were the descriptions of them were brunette, swarthy, dark, brown, sable, dusky, and olive complected. Okay. So yeah. So that right there was enough to be able to, show you the definitions of that time frame. Okay. And so with us knowing that that is the definitions of that time frame, what I want to now be able to show you guys is the YouTube video. This particular gentleman, let me go ahead and make sure I go ahead and put his information down here. I want to be able to show it. He has a YouTube channel, and his YouTube name is Straight Up. And he does get very much so into the definition. So then that way, once he presents the evidence or the articles, okay, this is why reading is fundamental. It is firsthand accounts of what the first ladies of the White House look like. Okay. Ain't no need for them to lie. Ain't no need for them to lie, Craig. Wasn't no need for them to lie. Okay. And with that being the case, once we get a chance to go ahead and get into this particular video, I want you guys to be able to see it. And again, subscribe to his channel. It's a lot of information. Even the information I'm sharing with you, fact check it, go and get the information, do some more deep diving. I was like, here I am thinking that Miss Michelle Obama was our very first America's first Black FLOTUS. And as we get an opportunity to see, it's the first one we knew about, but there were more. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump down into it. Here we go. It asked me if I want to share, and my answer is yes, I want to share. I want to share my screen. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you all. All right. And here we go.
Black, aka brunette, aka colored first ladies of the United States. Okay, so most of the evidence I will show you comes from historic newspaper articles. Just an FYI, I'm going to be jumping around a little bit with the time periods. All right, so this first article comes from the Times, Philadelphia, and it's dated Monday morning, February 9th, 1880. All right, so it's located under the first column under the heading, First Ladies, the Rules for the White House. All right, so we're going halfway down the page under the subheading, The Model of the White House, skipping down to where it reads, in a row, like schoolgirls in a class, stood the wives and daughters of the cabinet officials, with Mrs. President Hayes at the head. That it was strictly official was proved by the order observed in their positions. Just as the departments are ranked, the women stood, State, then Treasury, War, Post Office, Interior, and the Attorney General. Mrs. Hayes may safely be called a handsome woman, and there will none be found brave enough to dispute the palm. A brunette of the purest type, with large, brilliant eyes that conveyed the idea of surface, but not depth, like a transparent window that opens into space. A rather low Greek forehead, over which is banded that shiny mass of satin hair. If the glossy coronet could be improved by wave or bangs, but the dark, rich brunette complexion forbids this modern fashion, and Mrs. Hayes is an artist in one or more ways. Clad in rich ruby satin and silk combination, the corsage square and low as pompadour invented to call attention to her charms, no fault can be found with Mrs. Hayes, for her dress is as costly and showy as any worn by the celebrated beauties who flourished in the cabinet during the Grant reign. All right, so I'm not going to finish the article because I've read the part that I want you to hear. Okay, so hopefully you saw and heard what I read. The important part being a quote, which reads, "The dark, rich brunette complexion forbids this modern fashion." Okay, so there are two things here. The first one is President Rutherford B. Hayes' wife, Lucy Webb Hayes, is a woman of color. And secondly, she had a brunette complexion that was dark and rich. All right, so just as a side note, I don't like President Hayes much because according to Wikipedia.com, his presidency represents a turning point in U.S. history, as historians considered it the formal end of Reconstruction. By placating Southern Democrats, Hayes ended all federal efforts to bring racial equality to the South. In other words, Hayes, who was a staunch abolitionist, allowed the Southerners that lost the war off the accountability hook, which emboldened them to ramp up their white supremacist activities and take retribution on people of color, no matter their social or political status. What is also ironic is that the Confederacy consisted of both men of color and men of no color, aka white men, fighting to keep their Southern way of life, which included slavery. The twist occurs when the Southern white men and women decided after Reconstruction that they will exclude their fellow Southerners of darker complexions, who had the status of being white and who fought side by side with them, denying them any favor or privilege. All men and women of color were lumped together and reclassified as colored or Negro, regardless if they had European heritage, if they were Indian, aka Aboriginal to the Americas, or if they were indigenous to the Caribbean. I will be tackling that subject more in depth in a future video. All right, so moving on to the next brunette woman, you may find this one very interesting. All right, so this second article comes from the Harvard Herald, dated February 17, 1893, page 6. This article is titled, "The Washington Family." All right, so I'm going to start reading where it states, Martha Dandridge was a beautiful and a Virginia belle. When at 17, she married Daniel Parke Custis. Of their 4 children, 2 preceded their father to the tomb, and when the widow Custis married George Washington in 1759, she had but a son and a daughter. History gives us a few exquisite glimpses of the home life of Washington for the next few years. He and his wife were very nearly of the same age, both born in 1732. Both were wealthy, refined, and of the highest standing among the Virginia contemporaries. Washington loved the two children of his own. There was nothing to mar their domestic life. But in 1773, Martha Parke Custis died, and Washington was long affected with a strange restlessness. Indeed, his domestic life never again seemed so calm till after the Revolution. Martha was sometimes called the Dark Lady or Dark Beauty because of her brunette complexion, but she was both beautiful and amiable. All right, so that's the part of the article that I wanted to read to you. Let's see if you caught these three facts. The first one being President George Washington had no biological children. I didn't realize that. The second one was that Martha Washington was sometimes called the Dark Lady or Dark Beauty because of her brunette complexion. Let that sit with you for a second. Presently, calling someone dark anything is considered a negative term. However, back in the 1700s, Dark Lady and Dark Beauty was a compliment. Why? Because most women were a shade of brown, especially the elite. All right, and then the third is that President George Washington's wife, the First Lady, was a woman of color. I want you to know that I found 14 different newspapers from all over the country that carried this same exact story. Why then haven't I heard about this obvious trait she possessed? Has there been a more famous president than America's first president, George Washington? Did this fact just slip historians' minds? Wake up, folks. Look at this picture of Martha Washington, okay? Does she look like a dark lady or dark beauty or dark anything? All right, so something that I want you to realize and take away from that.
Okay. Well, did y'all catch any of that? Or did you catch all of that? As I said, this particular gentleman, he has done an immense amount of research. I want you guys, I'm going to go ahead and show his information again at the bottom of the screen so that way you guys can be able to see him. Again, it is YouTube resource, and the name of his channel is Straight Up. Okay. And so he's dropping some serious gems and diamonds over there. Well worth the dig. So although we are very, very excited and happy to be able to continue to know about, the prominent figures that we do learn about every Black History Month. Okay. Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, George Washington Carver, Louis Armstrong. Yes, we get an opportunity to learn about them. But how about us start doing some serious digging down deeper and beginning to go ahead and reference these articles that he brought up? So yeah, Martha Washington, honey. Say what? Honey was a brunette. Dark lady. Dark lovely. Well, now, some things that we didn't know. But again, this was a first-hand account. So that was why I took the time in the beginning to go ahead and go over the definitions. I know, kind of probably felt like school, just a little bit, but hopefully not too much. So then that way, when we got a chance to go ahead and read the article that was written in that date, in that time, for you to be able to understand what that person was seeing is what they were writing, because it was a definition that was going on at that place at that time. And it's important for us to be able to know these things. So our very first FLOTUS that we know about in this century will be Mrs. Michelle Obama. But honey, we got more digging to go. You just learned about Martha, okay? But there is even more going beyond Martha. So I highly suggest for you guys, go ahead on over, outside of subscribing to Jersey Girl Cozy Niche and making sure you're liking, hitting the notification bells. But of course, make sure that you also go ahead and yes, you see me up here. Follow me, Facebook, follow me, IG, follow me on YouTube. But of course, okay. And in the midst of you following me, make sure that you also follow Straight Up. He's got a wealth of information, and I'm continuing to grow and learn from there. And I hope that this is something that you do too, because like I said, this is one of the pillars of Jersey Girl Cozy Niche: personal growth and development. How are we going to be able to grow better as a people? Because we got to be able to grow better as individuals, okay? Individual fingers that come together to make a fist, and we can be able to do it. So that is it for Jersey Girl Cozy Niche tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I surely do appreciate you. And of course, we are going to end it with our way out of Jersey Girl Cozy Niche. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with us. Make sure that you hit that bell, the notification bell, so that you can be notified every single time I go live or upload a new video. Because the YouTube channel is where you get your steak, potatoes, desserts, and drinks, baby.